So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and an update on some of my latest painting projects. Continuing to kind of work through my stash of shame, the backlog of figures that I've got, and particularly some of the slightly more obscure kind of figures or things I'm just not really going to get around to very often using. First up, case in point, this is a group of 16 ancient Greek hoplites. Now, they're two sprues, and I think one is a warlord one, might even be a Victrix one, but I really can't remember where they came from. I've got a feeling one came via a magazine, a sprue that was given away on the magazine, and I'm not sure where the other one came from. But they've been sitting in my to-do pile for a considerable length of time, and I just thought I'm going to whack them out. Now I've got more hoplites and I know what to do with, so these plastic ones are probably destined for eBay. Well, they're not probably, they are destined for eBay, but you know what, that just funds more projects, doesn't it? So what are they? I've just done them as classic Greeks, really, nothing special. They've got the little big man shield transfers on the front, which really makes these guys come to life. I've done mainly white leather cuirasses, a couple of bronze ones in there as well, just to mix it in, and a couple of the figures just had linen, no particular armour on at all. Some crested, some not, a real mixed bag. I particularly like these two middle elements here, but as I say, I'm not going to use them. They will go on sale. Finally get rid of some of the figures. So next up, bit of different armour this time. This is a Russian T-70 light tank. Again from the backlog. I painted this up, so I have to first of all apologise. I was on Kaiser's stream the other week, talking about various stuff to do with the hobby. Check it out, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. And I said I was painting this during that stream. It's only an hour long or so, and I'd got fairly well advanced, and I stupidly said this was an early war tank, and he pulled me up, and he was right, actually, absolutely right. I thought it was a T60 in my brain, I don't know why, even though I said it was a T70. So this is actually a later war, mid to late war light tank. Yeah, and they still have their uses. It's a nice enough model. It's a Warlords resin and metal one. I really don't know how often I'll use this, but I might just use it as a substitute for the tank. I described it as a T60. Yeah, I've just joined the Russian armour pile. And then back to some slightly more familiar territory. This is a 28mm Perry metal Dutch-Belgian foot battery. Nice little model to make up. Annoyingly, as I've said before, the Perry figures for artillery, they give you 4-man crews. If you're planning to use them like I am for sharp practice, you need 5 crews, so I'm going to have to go and get another crew member from somewhere, probably Eagle. They do lots of individual figures, although it can be a bit weedy, small looking. Anyway, this is supposed to be a foot battery 9-pounder. Will join, so I'm building 2 different forces at the moment for sharp practice from one of the recent Lardy Christmas manuals, or you know, they do these annuals of which have articles about their games, including some scenarios and often army lists for periods that aren't necessarily covered in the main rules. And they've got one of the recent ones has a 100-day war, the Waterloo campaign, and in there is an army list for Nassau, which has a Dutch-Belgian gun within it because they didn't have their own artillery, and a Brunswick force. So I've got plenty of each already, so I've just added a couple of units, so I now have viable sharp practice forces, which is really pleased. So yeah, this will join the Nassau force. Quite pleased with it. I love the animation on the Perry figures, right? This guy's a slightly portly guy, and if you look closely, his lower buttons on his tunic are unbuttoned because he's got rather a big belly. I like that familiar feel. So that's that. Very nice. So talk about the Brunswickers. Here is some more Brunswick light infantry. Again, Perry metals. Just will join that force that I was talking about in terms of a Brunswick sharp practice force for that 100 Days War campaign. I've also got some Lancers which I'll be working on at some point, which I'm really excited. So I'll have some line troops, plenty of light infantry, and some Lancers, and of course that Brunswick gun that I showed a few weeks ago. So yeah, a good little force for sharp practice. Nice models. Unlike a lot of the Perry range, not as much variety. So you've got 3 figures firing, but they are supposed to be light infantry skirmishers, so I guess that's fair enough. And then 3 of them, well, it's supposed to be 3 firing and 3 loading. But then they come out nicely in black uniforms. So easy to do, especially using contra paint. That's how I did it. I used black Templar contrast paint. Then I put a dark wash over the top, and then I picked out a couple of the belts with just normal black Vallejo, just to make them stand out slightly, and then a gentle dry brush with a very pale white, sort of off-white colour over the top, and I think it just makes the edges stand out without making it look too silly. So quite pleased with them. These are something slightly different, very different. So in my stash of shame, I had a box of Warlord's plastic farm animals. So this is one of the sprues. I've got another one to make up, and I just thought they'd be useful for missions and objectives and things like that. I've already got in mind a sharp practice game where you have to capture supplies, a foraging party, and these will be really useful. So you've got a couple of cows, a couple of sheep, an ass. Do you like my ass? Some pigs, some piglets, ducks, chickens, bizarrely a cat, a goat, some geese, and a German Shepherd dog there, and obviously some sheep. Did I say that? Don't know. I'm not Welsh after all. So I'm really pleased with how they've come out. They're just dead simple. Although I have to say, one of the problems, they're plastic, and the joins on them were a little bit not great. So I had to do a little bit more work than I probably wanted to do, considering it was supposed to be just whack them out quickly, trying to just cover over the joins on them. But they'll do fine. They're just plastic objective markers, really. As I say, I'm not sure when I'm going to use them all. I'm really not sure when I'm going to need cats, for instance. But whatever. They run the sprue. So I've got another sprue to do, which I'll get around to doing, and then that's another box that can go in the bin and off the stash. And finally, for this video, there's 2 more figures from the stash. These are North Star Native Americans for the French-Indian Wars, muskets and tomahawks, and I've had them for ages. I think when I bought the original muskets and tomahawks edition, I also bought a set of I think they were called Nick Starter figures at the time, which were really nice and I've used extensively. But these 2 I've never got around to painting. So again, in the spirit of delving through the stash and finding figures I haven't done for ages, I pulled these fellas out, and quite pleased with how they've come out. Now I get asked occasionally on some of the videos, and when I bring my figures out, generally how I did the Native American sort of colour. And I found the pot. This is a very, very old paint pot that I bought at Salute 100 years ago, Howard's Hughes, and it's called Native American, and it's a very reddy, you can see this sort of very reddy brown, which seems to give the right kind of colour. It's very thick paint now. I think it's very old. So I've basically watered it down a fair bit, then used some washes, and then just used it again to highlight over the top. This guy, I think he's supposed to be holding a scalp or a heart, I'm not quite sure which. So I've put some sort of blood stains running down his arms, which makes it look redder skin than it actually is. But nice models, nice to get them done, nice to get them off the stash. So there you go, that's some of my latest painting projects, eclectic mix. I'm looking around here, I've got more of the Franco-Prussians to do. I found some more Greek infantry which I need to do. Got loads of French Indian War troops to do, some American War of Independence troops, all within. Oh, and then the Normans, still got some Normans to do, all within just what's on the table here with me now. So plenty more to do. But kind of fun and nice to get, particularly nice to delve into the stash. I've managed now with these figures just now, plus there's from some footsore Greeks here. Once they're done, there was a box of just sort of assorted stuff, which I've now cleared, which is very satisfying. And as I say, just nice to get some light at the end of at least one box. But there you go. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, and I hope your painting projects are going well. And hopefully in the UK we're coming towards the end of the really restrictive lockdown, and we can actually get out and meet up somewhere, which would be fantastic. Anyway, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom signing out.